Have you ever dreamed of making your own game or crafting stunning 3D worlds? Maybe you've heard of Unreal Engine but didn't know where to start. Well, this is the video for you. In the next few minutes, I'll show you everything you need to know to get started with Unreal Engine. From downloading the tools to creating your first project and navigating the editor like a pro. Whether you're a total beginner or just looking for a quick refresher, I promise you'll walk away ready to bring your ideas to life. So grab a seat and let's unlock your game development journey. Hello everyone, welcome back to Resources Studios. In today's video, we're diving into the basics of Unreal Engine. If you've ever wanted to create games or explore virtual environments, this is the perfect place to start. I'll guide you through downloading the Epic Games launcher, installing the engine, create your first project, and getting familiar with the editor. So without any further ado, let's get started. So first up, we're gonna go ahead and search for Epic Games, and from here we're gonna go to the first link and download our Unreal Engine editor. It should be getting downloaded, but for me it's already installed. So after downloading your engine, start the installation process and follow the on-screen instructions. After that, you're gonna have to log into your Epic Games account. If you don't have any account, then you need to create one. After you've downloaded and signed in, you're gonna get redirected to this store page of the Epic Games, and from here we're gonna go to the Unreal Engine tab and we're gonna go to library. Now I already have a few versions of engines installed. As for you guys who are just getting started, you won't see any of these. Now from there you need to click on this plus icon and select your engine versions. For this I'm gonna choose 5.2 as all the later versions are already installed, and I'm gonna hit install. It's gonna redirect me to the installation location. You can choose wherever you want by hitting the browse button. Once you've chosen your installation file location, hit install. But on the other hand, I want to show you some other options. As for the path option, you can choose what sort of components that you need for the Unreal Engine. As for me, I don't need Linux or iOS or Android, so I'm gonna uncheck all of these to save my storage, and I'm gonna need all of these as the starter contents is very helpful, and hit apply. It's gonna reduce your installation size. After that you can hit install and it's gonna start installing. Now I'm gonna close this or remove this because I already have one installed. So let's create our first project from here. Now I'm gonna create a project in 5.5 as this is the latest version. You're gonna need to click on the launch button to initialize the engine. It's gonna start up and start initializing. Also, it's gonna compile some shaders. You might need to wait for that a bit.
A few moments later.
Now, once this has started, all of your recent project files is gonna show up in the recent projects tab. In here you can see all of the engine versions down here and all of the projects you have on your PC or your machine. Now I want to show you some templates for Unreal Engine games or Unreal Engine projects to understand better. There will always be a blank project template in all of the categories. From the games you have first person, third person, top down, handheld AR, virtual reality and vehicle. On the first person you're gonna find a pre-made template of a first person game. Just like the first person, you're gonna find a template for third person, top down, handheld AR, virtual reality and vehicle, all of which you can go ahead and if you play, it's gonna start up the game-like functions. Now on the film, video and live events, you're gonna find virtual production, TMX, in-camera VFX, motion design and end display. In the architecture, you're gonna find Archviz, design configurator, collab viewer, handheld AR. In the automotive product design and manufacturing, you're gonna find Photo Studio, product configurator, collab viewer, and handheld AR. On this simulation, you're gonna find handheld AR and virtual reality. For now, for today's tutorial, I'm gonna select my project location, which is Unreal Projects, in my D drive, and I'm gonna name my project as Showcase. And I'm gonna hit the starter content on. The quality preset should be maximum, and if you want to create functions with blueprints, then hit blueprint, and if you're familiar with C++, then choose C++, so that the project can create all the necessary header files. Okay, I'm gonna hit blueprint for now, and let's create. Also, one note I need to address is that the shader compilation for Unreal Engine, it always bases on the core count you have on your processor. So the better processor you have, the faster the shader compilation is. Once the shader compilation is done, you're gonna see the Unreal Engine editor. In here, I have created the project based on the first-person template. Now, for that reason, I have this first-person arms and first-person folder up here. On this Unreal Engine editor, you're gonna see a whole bunch of stuff, but do not get confused. We're gonna go each and every element of it. So the first things first is this selection mode, or this tab, where you can select the mode between selection, landscape, foliage, mesh paint, modeling, fractures, brush editing, and animation. For the selection, you can select, grab any object and move around. For the landscape, if you have a landscape, you can manipulate it, sculpt it, or paint it. For the foliage, you can drag down some meshes and paint it around as foliages. This especially helps with trees and grasses. As for the mesh paint, modeling, fracture, brush editing, and animation, we're gonna cover them later on. Let's keep this tutorial really beginner friendly. Now I'm gonna head to selection mode, and right over this tab, you're gonna see this cube with a plus icon. From here you can search for anything and everything about Unreal's components, and you can add them to your world. And on the next icon, this is called the blueprints available for this world. Now this world has a separate blueprint all for itself. You can edit that whenever you need. On the next tab, we have the cinematics tab. You can add a level sequencer or a level sequencer with shots. On the next window, we have the play button, the advance for single frame button, the stop button, and a simulate another viewport button. On the three dot, you can select between all of the modes for your play, and you can check for your devices for quick launches. Now on the platforms tab, we can see a bunch of SDK managements. Here you can select for which OS or for which platform you need to build your project, and you can simply build the project for that specific platform. On the right hand corner, you're gonna see the settings tab. Now this has a bunch more options. We're gonna cover that later on in our tips and tricks videos. Now on the right side, we have outliner. This outliner is the list of things that you have already in your world, such as this cube or this cube. Everything you have in this world is gonna be listed on your outliners tab. And I have this place actors tab, which you can find from Windows and navigate to this place actors. When you click on the place actors, it's gonna pop up on the left side of your screen. You can drag it however you like. It's gonna show up like this, but for my ease of use, I prefer this on the right side. On the place actors, it acts the same as this add any component. Now on the bottom right side of the screen, you can find the details panel. In the details panel, whenever you select an object, you can edit and change the settings from here on the details panel. It has all the details about the object you've selected. You won't see this world partition, but you will see the world settings. From here you can set the game mode or the light mask, the world partition, everything related to this specific world. Now, for the most important part, you're gonna see the content browser. The content browser is the part or file system where you can save and store all your assets like 3D meshes, textures, materials, levels, anything you really can do within Unreal Engine. It's gonna be saved in your content browser. Now, on the content browser, you're gonna see a filters tab and a showcase and the file system like a tree over at the left. Now on the filters tab you can choose and filter all your contents from here, and if you want to add more on your filters, then you can go ahead and in this manage filters tab and filter your selections. On the content browser's top left corner you have this add button where you can add anything to your content folder or content browser and create assets. Next to the add you can see Fab. Now Fab is Unreal Engine's new marketplace system where you can find all the 3D assets and all the 3D meshes, packs, everything you can see or you can find is over here. You can buy them, or there are some free samples from Epic Games themselves which you can add to your project. Onto that later on. Now the next is this import button where you can import any assets from the external world. Next is the save all button. I do need to mention that whenever you're working on Unreal Engine, try to hit this save all once in a while. It's gonna save you a lot of time and a lot of trouble. And for the last part, this is the viewport. On the viewport you can see your world, you can navigate, you can move objects, edit, anything you want really. To navigate you need to click your RMB or right mouse button and move your mouse. You can hit WASD to navigate, just like in any game. Q and E to descend or ascend by holding the right mouse button, and this is the basic of navigation. Now one thing I'll say is you can try and go do it yourself so you get a better feeling of this. You can also hit the LMB left mouse button and do the same. You can use the scroll wheel to zoom in and zoom out, also you can navigate to it. You can also hit the LMB or RMB and move your scroll wheel to increase or decrease the speed. I'm gonna keep it to 1. That's for the navigation. Now for the manipulation of objects, you need to click on any object and there will be a 3D gizmo. Now this is the most important part. You can move it with the arrows, and also you can move along any 2 axes by hovering over to this right angle and moving just like that. It works for all of the directions for each of them, and also you can move the object in all axes by clicking on this sphere. As you've noticed that whenever I try to move, it moves in a fixed amount of increment or decrement. Now you can change that by enabling or disabling this snapping. When you disable snap, the movement of your object is smooth in all of the directions. Now after that, I'm going to show you the rotation. You can head over to rotation like by clicking on this or by pressing E. You can hold any of the axes and rotate as you desire. The rotation snapping you can enable or disable by hitting this button. For scaling, we have the shortcut R or this button. You can scale in any direction as you like, or any two, or all of them. As for the scaling snapping, you can click here to enable or disable. You can now scale objects without snapping at all. Sliding or moving the objects, you can hit W and you'll get the gizmo. For rotating, you can hit E, and for scaling, you hit R. This is for the basics of Unreal Engine. And this is it, the essentials, from downloading the tools to setting up your first project and navigating the editor. If you found this helpful, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to Jesrosa Studios, and hit the bell icon for more tutorials. In our next video, we'll dive deeper into building and customizing your scenes. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.